And for the top international headlines, we connect now to Paul Yi at the News Center.
Our focus today, the G7 leaders press Russia to choose the path of peace. Turkey votes to open a new political era, and the Tony Awards honors the best on Broadway.
Paul, let's begin with the G7. There's been a flurry of diplomatic activity in Germany as world leaders hold rare talks during this annual summit. Tell us more other than the beer and sausage.
Well, the group of 7 industrial nations first agreed to maintain economic sanctions on Moscow until a peace plan for Ukraine is fully implemented. But the focus for day 2 of the summit has shifted to tackling a range of global issues, from terrorism to climate change, as well as poverty and disease. Our Hwang Sung has the details.
Sharing a toast over Bavarian beer and sausages, German Chancellor Angela Merkel and U.S. President Barack Obama held private talks on Sunday. With the two countries facing the task of countering Russian aggression, Merkel stressed their strong alliance.
The United States and Germany share the same values and are closely cooperating for mutual benefits.
The White House said the two leaders agreed that the duration of the sanctions on Moscow should be clearly linked to Russia's full implementation of the Minsk agreements, referring to the ceasefire deal reached in February during talks in Minsk, Belarus. President Obama said discussions on Russia will continue.
Forging new trade partnerships across the Atlantic, standing up to Russian aggression in Ukraine, combating threats from violent extremism to climate change.
Ahead of the 2-day summit, leaders from Canada and Japan visited Ukraine to pledge their support. The European Union also vowed to join efforts to counter Russian aggression.
Given the current situation, if anyone wants to start a debate about changing the sanctions regime, the discussion could only be about strengthening it.
Russia has been excluded from the G7 summit for the second year for backing Ukrainian separatists. Members include leaders from the U.S., Britain, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, and Japan. As the talks got underway, thousands of demonstrators took to the streets to protest the G7 meeting. Fearing further violence, German authorities dispatched some 20,000 police officers to minimize disruptions. Hwang Sung, Arirang News.